Well, thank you so much for that. So the talk that I'm about to give is about who's more important, animals or people?
Wow.
And the subtopic is
We are animals.
how to be the life of the party.
I like
All right, so I'll start out with the party, right?
Start with the party.
Next time you're at a party and you get a group of people around you, ask them, who's more important, animals or people? And why? I guarantee you the party will liven up, especially if you have religious people in the crowd. And the important part is to ask why. All right, go there. Now, this occurred to me to talk about this now because I happened to see a video of Harambee. You know, remember that gorilla who was in Cincinnati Zoo? And he was shot because a 3-year-old got into his enclosure. And that sparked a lot of conversation, all kinds of news reports and protests and people pointing fingers at the parents at the zoo, et cetera, et cetera. They didn't specifically talk about who was more important, animals or people, but they kind of went around the periphery of that topic, which never happens in our society. Never happens. And that was interesting. But what was even more interesting was that they were talking about it as if it was a new issue, that we never consider this. You know, the fact is, every time you eat a lunch, breakfast, dinner, or snack that includes an animal or not, you're choosing whether you think animals or people are more important. All right, so you're making that choice. In the background, here's the interesting thing. On top of all that is that no one ever considers the fact that they're making that choice. But they are, in fact, making that choice every single time they choose a meal. But you don't hear about it in the media. You don't hear about it coming from the White House. Sorry. You don't hear anything coming from the White House, do you?
Lots of angry tweets.
A lot of angry tweets. You don't hear it anywhere, and yet it is a discussion that's relevant and needs to be coming out into the open. Because when we make a decision that humans are more important than animals, the consequences are grave. Now, why are people, just let me give you a for instance, 55 billion animals per year killed for people in the United States alone? That's a lot. Using up a good part of the world's food supply in order to feed to animals and wasting most of that food? Woo! These are weighty issues, and yet it's not often discussed. So why? Why is the automatic reaction always people are more important than animals? You know, people look at you as if you're crazy to even ask the question. Why is it automatic? One, it's my team. People have this inborn team mentality. My family, my town, my sports team, my country, my race, my gender, my preferences in all kinds of different ways. And when you get into that mentality, it is dangerous. We know what that creates in the world. Two, religion. Follow up on Victoria's discussion. I have a great deal of respect for a lot of things that religious and spiritual groups do. However, my respect goes to zero when religion is used to condone and justify violence. Then it becomes a dark force. Now, I'm not just talking about when we're eating animals in the name of religion, because that is dark, suffering, cruelty, enslavement. But when we put a suicide vest on and we move into the middle of a crowd and we use our religion to justify it, or we go to a church that doesn't have the same beliefs as my church and we shoot everybody, that's religion at its worst. This is a manifestation of religion at its worst, and we need to call it out. All of us. So what is the answer to the question then? All right, I'll tell you that I think this doesn't deserve an answer. We don't need to answer it. We need to ask a different question. We need to ask the question of, how can I possibly be in this world in a way that respects everybody and everything, all life, and creates an environmentally clean world for future generations, creates the worlds that I envision suitable for myself and my children and everybody else that I care about, including my cat and my dog and my cow who I haven't even met. That's the question we need to ask. What can we possibly do to create that world? If we don't do that, if we have this idea that animals are less important than people, gosh, that's dangerous. And history is strewn with the bodies of those who are a testament to that. Slavery, my race. Christians killed in the Colosseum, or holocausts, my religion or lack thereof. Speciesism and our current farming system. Very dangerous. So, my last thing is to tell you that I bring it up as being the life of the party as a joke, but I'm actually serious about bringing this up with your friends and your family. Not from a judgmental place, not from a place of you want to be right, but ask them, who do you think is more important, animals or people, and why? I guarantee you, you will raise this discussion in a way that they had never envisioned and never wanted, but be kind. Be kind. This needs to be discussed. We've been doing this parade for 12 years. I've been doing this work for 30 years. Speaking to as many people as I possibly can. I think it's time on a personal level to challenge our friends and our families, to bring this message to the world personally, as well as in as large a way as we can on the radio and on TV and everything else. Thank you for playing your part for all these years.